Okay, everybody, we'll be starting soon. We'll start very shortly. Just getting my audio issues fixed, and then I am about to start the game. So, everybody, as a reminder, the Painscreek Killings is a murder mystery game, which basically doesn't hold your hand. There is no cues, no prompts, no, you know, stuff that you have to follow as far as objectives inside the game. It kind of just tells you, hey, go figure this out, and you have to take notes and put it all together. Very much like an escape room. I am going to go ahead and get the video ready for the gameplay, and then we'll get started. Might take me just a second because I just did Grumpy Hackers, so switching back over from that, some of the things are a little bit different, so getting audio set. Also, I would like to thank my latest subscriber, For the Love of Megan. She is the wife of one of my friends who I actually stream with on Wednesdays on Grumpy Hackers. So that is very interesting and very fun. Very, very wholesome channel. I suggest if you have not, go check her out. She's actually somebody who plays a lot of variety of games and things of that nature. So where we left off with the Painscreek Killings, we were nearing the conclusion. Some things we hadn't discovered yet, so we're trying to go through and just get into all of the locked areas that we were unable to get to before. And we're doing pretty good. I think we have to go back to the hospital because I do have a key card. I will pull that up. And you can see we have this key card for Henry Johnson that we haven't used yet. Then we have this locket, which also has not been used yet. And you can see there's some writing on the back. If you are new to the channel, I am basically going to finish up this game. Hopefully today we'll find out who killed Vivian Roberts. And then we will move on to a different game. We actually did a poll on Twitter, and it seems like most people wanted Fallout 4 with mods. So that is what we will be playing next, later this week. So as we enter the hospital, we're going to be looking for the doctor's office is where I think we can use this key card. There was mention of it in the previous episode where we were going through and found a logbook talking about a person who was just standing in front of the office of one of the doctors. here we have our hospital map. So doctor's office is number 2 on the first floor. Okay, so that would be on the right hand side towards the back. Also, let's see. There are a few locked patient rooms. I know room 203, I think, was one of the ones where somebody was entered, and 201, but I think 201 was unlocked. So let me check the journal entries and see if we can't figure out where we need to go. Here we go, in the hospital visitors book. So, we've got a few rooms to visit here. We've got Matthew Brooks to see Trisha Roberts, so we gotta figure out where Trisha Roberts was, and then we've gotta figure out... I think that was the only one, Trisha Roberts. So let's take a look here. Room 201 was Teresa M. and Jane M. 203 was Trisha R. So 203 is the one we needed, not 201. So we got to go up and figure out how to get into that room as well. For those who were not here the last few times I played, Trisha is the daughter of Vivian, who was murdered. So we're going through and trying to gather all the clues to figure out who killed Vivian, since we don't think it was Scott, who was the main suspect. Let's see, this is an office, and it does have a keycard reader. Let's examine. Keycard is needed. So let's go into the inventory and use this. Ah, it did open. Awesome. So this must be Henry Johnson's office. We need to get the key for room 203, look at Trisha's belongings, etc., and see what clues we can't find about who could have killed her mom. Also, for those who were not here last time, we were correct in our assumption that Vivian, the doctor, and Andrew Reed, the gardener, were all murdered because they killed Sophia. Sophia was the maid whom Charles had an affair with and gave birth to an illegitimate son, and that son actually was Scott Brooks, who was dating Trisha Roberts, who is his half-sister, which is kind of creepy, but they didn't know they were siblings. Okay, so let's look in here and see if we can't find any clues, shall we? Doesn't look like there's anything in the bookshelves, so let's go ahead and see what else we can find.
Henry, I just received a letter from the NMB investigation firm regarding the use of the RRF funds. I need you to call me. Henry, we really need to talk. Please call back. What's going on, Henry? Why aren't you returning my calls? This is really important.
So I am going to assume that was Vivian trying to get a hold of Henry before we discovered that he was murdered, considering the fact that she had a investigation firm look into him and he was embezzling funds. So that's lovely. Oh, information. I know what you did. Meet me by the well at midnight. You know which one. Come alone. So, this is a letter identical to the one which was received by Vivian Roberts the day she died. So, I am assuming he also was, you know, lured to the well where Sophia was murdered and was murdered at the well and then disposed of in the lake in which he was found. Because the coroner's report said there was no water in his lungs. Woohoo! Key to room 203. Let's take that. Okay, so a letter from Vivian. Dear Henry Johnson, 45 Black Pine Road. Dear Henry Johnson, I would like to thank you for your contribution to the Painscreek Community Hospital and the people of Painscreek for the past 2 decades. However, there have been reports regarding the mishandling of funds designated for PCH, most of which came from the Roberts Relief Fund. This support was meant to help with the purchases of medical equipment and supplies. Since a sum of nearly $160,000 has been estimated missing, we have no other choice except to open an investigation. Until you are able to explain the discrepancies between your accounting and ours, we have no choice but to suspend all funding for the hospital for the time being. I will be meeting you and your accountant to solve these issues so we may continue to support the hospital's needs. Sincerely, Vivian Roberts. So we do know that he was definitely embezzling funds and that this was an issue, and it eventually leads to the closing of Painscreek Community Hospital, even after his death. So now let's go to room 203. Nice. So this was the room in which Trisha was being held at for her mental instability after the death of her mother and the indictment of her boyfriend. Interesting. So this is the room Trisha was in. However, I have a diary for Dorothy here as well as a key for something that I am not sure what. So let's go ahead, read the diary, and then hopefully we can figure out what this key goes to. July 27th, 1995. Yesterday, on hearing that Scott was apprehended for the murder of her mother, Trisha collapsed. The hospital called this morning to inform us that it was just a nervous breakdown. However, they have suggested that she should stay there for another few days. Charles is asking me to stay by her side. August 3rd, 1995. It rained today. Trisha has always hated the rain. She stayed in bed, tucked under the blanket, nearly the entire day. Here and there she mutters Scott's name out loud. She's cried herself to sleep a few times. It pains me to see her like this. August 22nd, 1995. Charles visits Trisha almost every day. Today he was quieter than usual. All of a sudden he told me that Vivian had been seeing another man, apparently a banker, for more than a year. He asked me if Vivian ever talked to me about it. I said I didn't know anything, but was sure that Vivian would never have done such a thing. Then I realized that Trisha was awake. I'm not sure if she heard our conversation. September 8th, 1995. Sheriff Howard came today. He asked me if I remember seeing anything suspicious the night Vivian died. I've already told him everything I know. It's frustrating to be asked over and over about things that I just want to forget. But he left. I asked if Scott could really be the killer. He said he's wondering the same thing. If Scott was not the killer, then who killed Vivian? September 16th, 1995. Derek came by today. Derek came by to see Trisha. I asked him how he was doing. He said that the medical expenses for Wanda were more than he expected. Even with Charles's help, he's been forced to use up most of his savings. He's currently searching for a second job. He asked me if there was a future for him. Traveling with Charles made him see some of the rather ugly sides of the world. His mother is hospitalized with terminal cancer, and seeing his best friend, Trisha, like this pains him. I didn't know what to tell him. Before he left, he leaned close to her and whispered, "Would it have been better if Scott just never showed up? Would you have chosen me?" I wish that I never heard that. Well, that's not creepy at all. No, not one bit. Oh, here we go. November 16th, 1995. Scott Brooks' body found by jogger with multiple stab wounds to the heart. Police unsure if events are tied to the killing of Vivian Roberts. Scott Brooks, the murder suspect on the Vivian Roberts case, was killed yesterday. His body was found on the roadside along Maple Drive. At around 6:50 a.m., a jogger happened to see a body lying motionless on the side of the road behind the bush while doing his morning run. He stopped to check if the person needed help, only to notice that the body was covered in blood. He immediately called 911. The police arrived shortly at around 7 a.m., and the victim was pronounced dead. Time of death was predicted to be about 4 to 6 hours ago, putting the time of death between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. Questions have been raised pertaining to the murder of Vivian Roberts, especially since Scott was released from prison due... And it cuts off, and we don't have the next page. So this is proof that what we discovered in the previous chapters, when we played, our previous playthrough, pardon, is that Bernard the butler killed Scott because Charles wanted Scott dead. Due to the fact that he was released from prison, they didn't have enough, information to hold the kid anymore. So he was released from prison. He was on bail and awaiting trial, but they didn't have enough concrete evidence against him to try him for the murder. So this is talking about him being murdered, and we found this bloody knife in Bernard's study, along with a journal entry stating that he had murdered Scott Brooks. So not much else in here to go off of, just the journal entries and a key. So let's take a look at our inventory and see if we can't figure out what this key goes to. It is a bedroom key. It was found next to Dorothy's diary. So this could be the key to get into Dorothy's bedroom. We know that Dorothy Patterson is supposed to have a key for Oliver's place, but we haven't found it yet. So let's go back to Dorothy's house, which I believe was 40 Black Pine Road, and take a look and see what we can't find there. Hopefully it'll be a lead in the investigation. Also, because I need to find a shovel so I can dig up a time capsule for some reason. Let me just do a once over here to make sure that I definitely got everything in this main room, and then we'll move on. Okay, so nothing new here. Let's go ahead and move upstairs and try to open her bedroom. It worked! So let's take a look here and see if we can't find anything. Ooh, another diary. Let's see what this one holds. Friday, October 27th, 1995. Scott was released from prison this morning. Matthew went to pick him up. There's a lot of tension here in Painscreek. Most people think of Scott as a murderer. Charles tried to stop Tricia from seeing Scott, but it's no use. She was already waiting for him at the cabin. Monday, November 6th. Charles is drinking again. He couldn't stop Tricia from trying to see Scott, yet Scott seems to be avoiding her. Tricia should not have been discharged from the hospital at this point. She still needs help in rehabilitation. November 14th. Derek and Scott fought at the market today. Derek asked Scott why he's avoiding Tricia. Scott didn't say anything. He just walked away. Derek told him not to come back anymore. It's sad to see what's happening to them now. They used to be such good friends. Thursday, November 16th. Oh my God, Scott was killed? Saturday, December 2nd. Tricia's been going crazy ever since Scott died. She sometimes screams in the middle of the night. Here and there, she'll ask us why Scott hasn't visited her for a while. No one seems to know how to answer without agitating her condition. Wednesday, December 6th. Tricia is finally being admitted to the hospital for another mental breakdown. Charles doesn't know what to do. I've asked for his permission to take care of Tricia at the hospital until she recovers. I think Charles appreciates my help. So we do know that Tricia dies. there's a tombstone at the cemetery with her name on it, and she died in 95, so it must have been shortly after that journal entry. December 27th, 95. Daughter of ex-mayor found dead at Painscreek Community Hospital. Tricia Roberts falls 40 feet from rooftop, lands on head, and dies. Yesterday morning, the body of Tricia Roberts was found on the grounds of Painscreek Community Hospital. She was pronounced dead at 7:20 a.m. According to Miss Thompson, she was starting her morning shift when she heard some sound near the reception area. She went out to find Tricia laying motionless. Blood was flowing out from her head. She quickly called for Dr. Bennett, the attending physician for the day's morning shift, who brought Tricia to the emergency room at once. Unfortunately, it was too late. The hospital CCTV shows that Tricia Roberts was walking around the hospital at around 6:30 a.m. She headed to the roof at 6:54 a.m. A few minutes later, her body was found on the ground 3 floors below. Charles Robert, ex-mayor and father of the deceased, and then it cuts off. So yes, she died. There was a loose railing at the hospital that, with the roof access, you could get right up to it. So we're pretty sure she killed herself. And here you can see the hospital is now checking to see why the roof door was not locked. Investigation is still pending regarding Tricia's death. So it is possible that it was a murder. However, I am fairly certain it was not a murder and was potentially suicide due to the fact that she was having mental breakdown due to the death of her mother and then Scott, and yeah, just huge shitty situation all around. I would also like to take this time to say if you are suffering from any mental difficulties, it's okay to seek help. And there are suicide hotlines that are available. Please don't suffer alone. That's all I have to say about that. So here we have what looks like a house key, and we know that she has the key for Oliver's, so I'm going to guess, considering this is Oliver Photolab Cleaning, and it was right next to that, that's what this is for. Dear Dorothy, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude for all you've done for me. You've taken care of my store on so many occasions. You've helped maintain its bright spirit. I would be lying if I said that I'm not saddened by your departure. I will greatly miss you. I wish you all the best in your new place. Do invite me there once you've settled in. May God be with you. Best regards, Oliver Gibson. Okay, so yes, fairly certain this is the key for Oliver's Photolab. Here is a box that says Sophia on it. I don't know if you can see that. It does have a padlock. Let me see what the locket has on the back of it, because I bet you the back of the locket is the key to opening this. "0526. Okay. And it worked. So let's see what Sophia had. Sophia Miller. This looks to be her diary. August 30th, 1974. I know some people don't like me. Wanda always picks on me, and Bernard ignores me most of the time. Andrew, well, he's okay as long as I'm not in his garden. Dorothy cares a lot for me, though. I like her. Tom, our security guard, treats me with respect even though I'm just a housemaid. Vivian and Charles are kind to me. Oh, and Matthew, too. I almost forgot about him. He's been taking care of me forever, certainly as long as I can remember. I'm a lucky girl. October 20th. Matthew talks to me whenever he has time. Sometimes I feel he's trying to escape his chores at the church. We'll talk about everything under the sun, our hopes, dreams, futures. It reminds me of our days at the orphanage. For those that don't remember, Sophia was in the orphanage with Father Matthew, who was the adoptive father of Scott Brooks, who is the son of Sophia. December 29th, 1974. Landing a job here as a maid was the best thing that could have happened to me. However, I never imagined I would be having an affair with a married man, let alone my employer. Now I'm carrying his child. How do I face Matthew? March 15th, 1975. I received a letter from Matthew today saying that he'll be extending his stay in Indonesia for 6 more months. That's always been him. He's always had a noble heart, wanting to help people everywhere. I miss him, but I'm glad he decided to extend his stay there. It gives me time to prepare how I'll explain my situation to him. I don't know how he'll take it if he just hears the truth blurted out once he gets back. March 18th. I received a telegram this morning from Matthew wishing me a happy birthday. He told me he had a special birthday present prepared for me. All I need to do is find the clues that he placed in our favorite places. He's waiting for my telegram after I've solved the puzzle. I've actually solved it already, but I don't know what to say to him. What should I do? June 1st, 1975. My baby was born today at 8:20 a.m., and it's a boy. He looks just like Charles. Dorothy's taking good care of us. She prepares the food and attends to my needs. I almost feel like I'm her boss. Charles visits me all the time, asking if we need anything else. I told him he didn't have to come so often, and to instead focus on work. As a mayor, he must have a lot on his mind. June 16th. Charles told me today that his mother, Magdalene, will be arriving in 2 weeks. She knows about our relationship. I feel nervous because she's a strict woman. At the same time, I'm happy because she told Charles to take responsibility for me and my son. Soon, I won't have to be a maid anymore. Charles has decided to name our child Vincent Roberts. I like that name. Okay, so Vincent, which is Scott, which is Charles and Sophia's son, obviously is a tragic story, right? Here we go. Here's a letter. Dear Sophia, how have you been? I hope everyone is treating you well at the mansion. It's been 6 months since my missionary work started here in Indonesia. Life here is hard but meaningful. I thought my life at the orphanage was miserable, but after coming here, I realized I am blessed more than I could ever imagine. I'm supposed to be back in 1 week's time, but I recently decided that I'll be extending my stay here for another 6 months. I haven't received any letters from you for a while now. I hope you are doing well. Remember the time when we were at the orphanage? You said that you don't want to be poor anymore? I think God heard your call and brought you to Painscreek. Charles and Vivian told me they were glad I introduced you to them. They said you are a hard-working person with a kind heart and that us being related was not the reason they hired you. You got the job on your own merit. I did not know whether or not to tell them we are not actually cousins. I feel bad for lying to them. I guess I'll have to tell them the truth someday. Having said that, I'm glad that you are in Painscreek. We can talk and meet any time, just like the good old days at the orphanage. I will do my best here. I hope you can wait for me. Best regards, Matthew Brooks. P.S. I have prepared a special present for your birthday. Wait for my telegram that day. So, again, I think Sophia and Matthew had a relationship and that she cheated on him with Charles, got pregnant with a, pardon my French, but bastard son or illegitimate child of a rich family. And she was murdered before he came back to Painscreek. They never met up after he returned. And he didn't know where she had gone, and that was that. Like, he never saw her again. So we now have information that their favorite places list where the surprise is. So we have some journals. We can go through and gather that information to try to open whatever is that he left for her. Now, I may have cheated a bit in the fact that I already found a box by the river near the, the playground. And I am assuming that that box is probably what he left, considering it was hidden in a stump and he was a carpenter. So I am going to guess that that is actually the present that he left. Real quick, we'll go to Oliver's, and then just to make sure, I'll double check through the logs that I have in the journals, and then we'll go and see. So yes, this was the key to Oliver's. So we're going to go in, hopefully we can get the tools that he borrowed, and maybe we'll find some other stuff, and go about our day. That will come in handy to get into the, what was it called? Time capsule that's in the graveyard. I don't know what the wrench can be used for, but I'm sure it'll come in handy for something. Here we go. Office of Church Haven. Dear Mr. Oliver Gibson, we regret to hear that Father Matthew will not be joining any part of the annual religious gathering event from July 18th till the 23rd in South York. We received Father Matthew's memo yesterday stating that he was not feeling well. I assume he has also informed you about this last-minute change. Please send him our regards. We wish him a swift recovery so he may serve the people of Painscreek soon. Sincerely, Todd McDermott. Okay, so this invalidates the alibi which Scott had, or not Scott, but Father Matthew had, for Vivian's murder. Which means my suspicions may be correct in that Father Matthew may be the murderer of all of the people whom were murdered in Painscreek. Oh, here we have a diary of Oliver's, so let's read that. January 3rd. We just attended Trish's funeral this morning. Charles tried to be strong, but by the end of the ceremony his face was wet. Dorothy cried her heart out. It truly pains the soul to witness so many deaths occur here in Painscreek. Every one of those deaths was of a person I knew, and some were very close to me. Among them, Vivian's death shocked me the most. Despite what the media said, I will not, for even a moment, believe that Scott killed her. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Trish's death hurt the most, probably because I spent the last few years mentoring her. She was smart, kind, and very talented. She was turning into a very promising young woman. With her passing, Charles has lost all his family members. He's all alone. I can't imagine the pain he is going through. August 14th. Dorothy left Painscreek early February, a month after Trish's funeral. The hospital closed shortly after. By the end of the month, Charles had packed and departed Painscreek for good. Wanda passed away March 12th. Her cancer had spread too far and too deep. The doctors could not save her. 2 weeks after her funeral, Derek moved out of Painscreek. Autumn is approaching. My photography store will be closing by the end of this month. I have many things to say, but there's no one left to confide in. Anyways, I've been thinking about retiring for quite a time now. Maybe that time has come. So Oliver was there to the end, and he was one of the last members of Painscreek to leave, leaving behind his store, this legacy, and information about the people whom he interacted with on the regular. It's kind of sad. Like, the passing of all these people is sad, yes, but the death of the town is also really, really sad when you think about it. So let's take a quick look at the journals. So I know for a fact that according to the record of alibi, which is here, Matthew Brooks said there was an annual religious gathering event in Hartford where the pastors from different churches in our state's vicinity meet and discuss what we can do to help our society, and that it occurred July 18th to July 23rd, and that he represents the Trinity Church at the event, and the church can confirm this because we had to cancel our Sunday service for that week. Which he never went to the event. So the entry by the detective, if we come back here to Stephen Moss's diary, 1997-5, says, "It was recorded that there was an event, yet I remember reading somewhere about it being cancelled. Where did I read it again?" So the event wasn't cancelled, he just didn't go to it, which means his alibi is incorrect. Which also means that he had no alibi for Vivian Roberts' murder. So, I think he's the killer. But let's go dig up the time capsule and find the present that was left for Sophia, and then we have to find a key that was in a storm drain, and then we should be able to finish the game. See if my assumption is correct in that Father Matthew is actually the murderer. I wonder why I can't use this here. I know it said it was by the big boulder. Maybe I'm just not seeing the area correctly. Let me do some roaming around. Here we go. January 11th. Scott is gone and Trisha is dead. How did this happen? We held Trisha's funeral last week. There could have been more people. There should have been more. This village will be barren in a few months to a year. My generation is just moving out, and the old generation is simply dying out. I will also be leaving here soon, once my mother passes on. Once I can't take care of her any longer. The night Vivian died, I saw Scott meeting her. I was at a distance from where they were, arguing. Couldn't hear the details, but I could tell they were disagreeing. When Scott left and went back to his cabin, I followed him. I watched him through the window, till early morning, all the time thinking how we have drifted so far. How could Trisha choose him over me? Am I not good enough for her? The police questioned me when Scott was suspected of killing Vivian. I know he didn't do it, but I decided not to tell them what I knew. With Scott locked up, I could have a chance to be with Trisha. I didn't expect that this small omission on my part would eventually lead to Scott's death. When Scott died, Trisha ended her life. In a way, I too died that day. I never wished for Scott to die, nor Trisha. I hope that they can forgive me. Derek Tyler. So, yes, it is as I suspected. And very sad, too. Man. Here we go. Secret of Painscreek. Hospital, mansion, hidden room in study, so we've already found that. Underground secret passage, we've already found that. Future Detective Scott. Secret room above Father's room. So we know that there's a secret room, but we haven't been able to open it yet, because we don't have the key. But we do know that it exists. I should probably take a picture of that, because it could come in handy. Right? Is there anything else in here? Well, there is a picture. Damn. So, that chess piece should also help us, because there is a way to open the drawer to Charles' study's desk, and it is with, like, a combination of, what was it? I think it was BBKR or something like that, or something. 1 second. Here we go. It's a KQB. So King, Knight, Queen, Bishop. And we've got a bishop. I think we've got the king and the knight, and we've got a queen. So we should be able to use the numbers on the bottom of those to figure out what the code is. So let me just check my notes real quick to see what the other numbers were. I think the bishop had a 9 on it, so we should be able to get whatever combination it is to open that. Okay, let's see. It was a 1, a 4, a 9, and a 5. So we gotta put those together in the right order. So it's either gonna be 5194 or 9154. It's gonna be the code. So we'll try either one of those combinations. Okay, so I know that's 1 and 9. Okay, so that's either 5 or a 4 or a 5 and a 4, so let's try... Well, 5's already there. We'll just leave it there. I know that's a 1. This is a 9. Try 4 there. Ooh, it worked! Let's open that. Beckett's Investigation Services. To Charles Roberts, July 17th. Upon your request, we investigated Andrew Reed and Henry Johnson's deaths. Due to confidentiality agreements with our sources, we are unable to reveal the true nature of their deaths. Suffice to say, both of them did not die of said accidents, so we dug deeper. We found that Andrew and Henry were both related to the disappearance of Sophia Miller and the death of Magdalene Roberts 20 years ago. What really happened to Sophia, we do not know as of now. However, some evidence has brought to light regarding Magdalene Roberts' death. We talked to a retired nurse who used to work at the Painscreek Community Hospital. Although she preferred to remain anonymous, according to her, she came across a note while cleaning Dr. Johnson's office. In it, Dr. Johnson stated that the prescription was lethal and to be administered only to Magdalene, and the dosage has to be precise or it will not work. No one else should intake it. A letter was made out to your wife, Vivian Roberts, according to the note. If you would like for us to stop this investigation, let us know at your earliest convenience. Otherwise, we will continue to find out the truth about Sophia's disappearance. Sincerely, Jason Beckard. So this was 2 days prior to Vivian's death. So, you know, there is a chance that Charles probably thought that Vivian, killed Sophia and his mother. He would have had plenty of motive to murder his wife, but I don't think he did. I still think it's Father Matthews. February 3rd, 1996. To Charles Roberts. Our investigation was initially promising. We interviewed possible witnesses who might know something about Sophia's disappearance. Months later, however, we are nowhere near knowing what happened to Sophia. We've searched through all the states for any possible trace, but to no avail. What we can conclude at this time is that the main cause of Sophia's disappearance has to do with Andrew, Henry, and Vivian. Now that they are gone, we are unable to get to the truth about what really happened to Sophia. If you prefer, we can still continue the search. However, the results look bleak. We have posted rewards for any information regarding Sophia, hoping that it's just a matter of time before someone with real information steps up. For the time being, we suggest that you wait. Should anything emerge, you will be the first to know. Sincerely, Jason Beckard. Okay, and another journal for Charles. Let's take a look at this. November 18th, 1995. Months ago, right before Vivian was killed, I confronted her about Mom's death. She said she didn't know anything about it. She only administered the medicine as provided by Dr. Johnson. She was lying. I could see it in her eyes. She was scared and she was hiding her fear. I know that Vivian was never completely truthful with me. But I still have no proof yet. She never liked Mom, but I wouldn't have thought her capable of killing her own mother-in-law. I know that she had something to do with what happened to Mom and Sophia, but what can I do? She was my wife, after all. And now... December 27th, 1995. Vivian is dead. So is Scott. Now Tricia is dead too. Is this my punishment for the affair I had 20 years ago? No, Charles, it's not your punishment. It's just shitty human beings being shitty human beings. With that said, I think we've opened up all the desk drawers that were still locked. We still have to discover the birthday present that was left for Sophia, which I'm fairly certain, like I said, I've already found. I just have to figure out the code. So her birthday was, what, March 18th or May 18th? 1 second. Okay, so it's March 18th. So we'll go and try 0318 and see if that works. Okay, so let's go and see what's happening. I do realize that I forgot to post this to Twitter, so I just posted. I know it's late, but we're almost to the whodunit part, so at least we will get hopefully some people in here in time to see the conclusion. If not, then I am pleased to see you guys for the video on demand, or on my YouTube channel for the video on demand, and we'll definitely get to see whodunit very shortly. So let's go this way first and get to the birthday present, and then we will try to find the church key and finally find out who killed Vivian Roberts, as well as Andrew Reed and Dr. Henry Johnson. Well, that doesn't work. I figured it would. Let me see if I missed something. It looks like we might have to find the code somewhere else. So we know favorite places were Anne's Courtyard and Suites. It was this area right beside the bridge, and it was Main Moon, or Moon on Main, or Moon Cafe, whatever it was, on Main Street. And then his favorite places was the church, and I think there were a few others. One second. I've got to re-look at my notes, because I do not remember where Matthew's favorite places were. Let's see. Let's see. Moon Cafe. Can't seem to get in the first place. Maybe it's because of the company. Definitely one of my favorite places in Painscreek, followed by the church and Little Big Books. So we need to go to the Moon Cafe. We need to go to the church and Little Big Books. Okay, let's see if we can't figure out these clues to open this, because I had already found it and I figured that's what this was, but now I'm not so sure. So let's go and take a look. So here's the Moon Cafe. Let's take a look. See if I can't find what the clue could be. Here we have house, so let's go back and see if there's something down there on the base of Moon Cafe. here we have playground, so let's go to the church and to the courtyard inn and see if we can't find anything. Hey, nice to see you, Weird. I don't know if you're still in, but definitely good to see you around, if not hear your voice. Thinking maybe I got this clue wrong, but I could have swore I had it right. Let me go to the church and see. Nice. Yeah, it's this game so far has kicked my butt. I like the corner up there had something more to the left. Okay, let me go back. Let's see. Oh, bird. There we go. So birdhouse playground. We already knew that. So now we need to go to the church and find the clue. So let me run there real quick. Yeah, 1203. Maybe that's the code to get into that. And then I've still got to find one more key, and then we should finally figure out who done it. I think it's Father Matthews, the Reverend who killed everybody, but we'll find out soon. Yes, I think definitely the Spanish Inquisition. I mean, he is a priest, so, you know, close enough. So true. Well then, I opened it up. Let's see. Dear Sophia, it's been quite a while since I last wrote to you. I've been busy. I hope you are doing well. Father Calvin has been guiding me how to be a man of God, to grow my faith in the Lord and my compassion for people. When I see those who have no beds to sleep upon and no food to eat, my heart goes out to them. I wish I could do more. Father Calvin has been handing me more and more responsibilities. Seems like he might be retiring soon. He even gave me his favorite desk in the study room. I've changed its code to 0318, the day you first came to the orphanage. Painscreek has been very quiet recently. Nothing much goes on in this small town. Oliver is still Painscreek's event photographer. Charles and Vivian are running their businesses as usual. Trisha's 7 now. She's really smart and loves to hang out with her dad. Dorothy's the same old Dorothy that we all love. Bernard's still the reliable butler. I don't think he'll ever be replaced. As for me, well, I'm still here, waiting for your return. Do you remember the church attic? Well, I spend most of my free time there now, doing wood carving. It helps me relax. Hey, I even got pretty good at it. Sometimes I'll think of you and how we spend our time together. I'm not sure if you ever realized how I felt towards you. Since you left, I keep writing these letters, but I never mail them. And to be honest, it's because I don't have a clue where you might be staying right now. At the same time, writing to you has made me feel that we are still close to one another. Today marks the 6th year that you left Painscreek. I still don't know why you left. All I want is to say is, take care. This will be my last letter. One day, I hope to see you again. Love always, Matthew, 2/14/1982. So, dear Sophia, please wait for my return. Love, Matthew, 3/18/1975. Every moment I spent with you is like a beautiful dream come true. Happy birthday. And a ring. I think Father Matthew was going to propose to Sophia, the girl whom he loved from the time that they are in the orphanage together with one another. And that definitely gives him a reason, a motive for the killing. I already know his alibi is not correct. He gave a fake alibi. And I know that he definitely wanted to murder the people who murdered Sophia. It's also why he adopted Scott, because Scott was Sophia's son. Whew, man. Twisted web. Now all that's left for my editor is to find the murder weapon, which I think is probably in that secret room in the church. But to get into that room, I have to find a key, which was thrown away into a storm drain, according to Stephen Moss, the private investigator who was being chased by Father Matthew. So, it's been 2 years since then, but I think Father Matthew is still here. There's a car there. There's fresh flowers on Sophia's grave. I think he's still in town, and I think he's probably hiding upstairs in the church. So probably gonna have a jump scare at some point in the near future once I figure out where that storm drain is and where the key is that I need to find. Okay, so I discovered the note in the car that said that he threw the key into the storm drain. So now I need to find a storm drain. Okay, so it's not that storm drain. I guess we gotta look for a different storm drain. Also not that storm drain. Well, shit. Different one. Okay, so we've been around this block. Let's go ahead down the farmer's market or down this other path and see if it's there. So, no key there either. Let's check a different storm drain. This is probably going to take a bit, which is annoying. That's one thing with this game. Even though it doesn't hold your hand or give you objective areas, it does kind of give you clues. And those clues can sometimes be so frustratingly erroneous. Like, oh hey, I dropped the key while I was being chased into a storm drain. Well, it doesn't say where that storm drain is. So now I have to go around finding all the storm drains in the entire city and opening them up and trying to find a key that this guy dropped. Also not in that one. Okay, so it's not by the farmer's stand. Let's go down and over a bit. Okay, we're back where we started. Let's go down Silver Lake and see if we find it there. Well, look at that. That is definitely the key we're looking for. It's a 19th century designed key. That's definitely the one to the upper floor of the church. Like I said, I'm probably going to get a jump scare some point during the ending of this, just simply for, like, I've already had a few during this, which is kind of weird considering most of the game you're not really around people or anything. But there was a jump scare, where was it? Outside of Andrew Reed's house. There was a jump scare that was outside of the mansion. And there was a jump scare that was inside of the hospital. Well, that was easier than I expected. Just turn the key, right? Okay, here we go. Oh, he's not in here. I totally expected him to be up here hiding. I think that's talking about me. Someone came to Painscreek. She can't know. Dearest Matthew, I'm writing this letter to let you know what happened to Sophia. My days are almost up, and I feel you have the right to know what happened 9 years ago. In 1974, when Vivian Roberts underwent a C-section to deliver Tricia, she was told that she could not give birth anymore. Vivian broke down mentally and was hospitalized. Sophia was tasked with taking care of the newly born Tricia and helping Charles Roberts. Charles, who was facing a lot of difficulty and pressure, unfortunately found comfort in Sophia. They had an affair. A boy was born. A few months later, Vivian found out about the relationship. She was furious. Feeling threatened by the illegitimate boy, Vivian kicked Sophia and the baby out of Painscreek. Everyone believed that, but the truth is, I took the boy and put him in St. Patrick's orphanage, and I named him Scott. Time flies. He's going to be 10 soon. I pray that you can bear the responsibility of raising him. He does not need to know about his real parents. It's all in the past. Instead, give him a new start. I sincerely hope that you can forgive me for hiding this from you for so long. Calvin Bennett, November 1st, 1984. April 12th, 1975. Dear Matthew, it's been more than 2 years since I started working at the mansion. I like this place a lot. People here are nice to me. Thank you for your letter. Although I cannot be there with you for your missionary work, I will pray for your success. You were always the noble one. Do you remember the wishes we made when we were at the orphanage? Yours was to help the unfortunate. Mine was not to be poor. Well, I did not expect opportunity to knock so soon. Maybe heaven is helping me? With all that has happened these past few months, my wish might just come true. I'd love to tell you more about it, but it can wait until you're back. Things might be different by then. I hope it will be for the better. Love always, Sophia Miller.
June 6th, 1995. I met Andrew in the evening at his house. He was hallucinating when we met, saying that he's seen Sophia everywhere, that he's a sinner, and that he should die. But I didn't mean to kill him. My hands are still shaking. June 30th, 1995. Dr. Johnson came. He was surprised to see me. He tried to justify, saying it wasn't his fault, that he was only carrying the baby and had nothing to do with Sophia's death. When I revealed the truth about Magdalene, his face turned white.
Oh no.
He didn't expect anyone to know the truth. He deserved to die. July 19, 1995. Just like the doctor, Vivian came alone. Instead of feeling guilty, she called Sophia a bitch who destroyed everything she had. I didn't feel any sign of remorse, feeling of guilt,
Okay, Beard. See you
or
later.
repentance from her.
Yeah,
at all.
hey, it'll be up on the
So I
video on
gave her
demand
time
as soon
to
as this
express
is over.
herself. And then I killed her. It's all over now. Why am I not at peace? There's this nosy investigator in town. I thought that if I led him to believe that Bernard killed Vivian, he just might believe it. But I made the mistake of trying to mislead him. Now He's suspecting me of being the killer. He has to die.
Oh no. Oh shit. I can't save from now on. Y'all, I think Sophia just saved me from Father Matthew. Man, what a way to end. To Janet, I'm glad that you made it back safely and uncovered the truth about the Painscreek Killings. Good job. Your story will be on the front page of tomorrow's newspaper. Please submit the following information as well as a photo for your article as soon as possible. Richard Harris, Editor-in-Chief. P.S. By the way, we found out who hired P.I. Stephen Moss. This is the end, everybody. To Dorothy Patterson, my name is Janet Kelly. I'm here to inform you on behalf of P.I. Steve Moss that the secrets of the Painscreek Killings have come to light. He is, however, missing. police are searching for his whereabouts. While preparing for this letter, I could not help but wonder, what if Charles didn't commit adultery? What if Vivian had not confronted Sophia? What if Magdalene had not insisted on a son to continue the family line? Could things have turned out differently? In hindsight, it's easy to say what they should not have done. Sometimes it's hard to make the right choices in life, doesn't it? But did Derek really hate Scott so much that it led to his death? Could Matthew not have sought revenge for Sophia? And why did Henry Johnson choose to be an accomplice in Magdalene's death? The truth was that everyone made a choice they thought was best, but not necessarily the right one. This made me realize the following. We have the freedom to say or do whatever we want, but there are consequences following our actions. The bigger the mistake, the harsher the consequence. It was true that Charles and Sophia's affair was wrong, but Vivian had a choice. Either to confront Charles about it and take it out on Sophia. She chose the latter. Just as Vivian made her choice, so did Andrew, Henry, and Matthew. In the end, they all had to face the consequences. One thing puzzled me. Steve and I were both trying to find out the truth. Why was I saved but not him? I hope I can find an answer someday. Till then, this is the story of the Painscreek Killings. Sit and watch the credits for a bit, but you guys tell me what you think. Do you think that this was a expected result? Is this something that was just always going to happen? Could it have turned out differently? There's no telling, because we don't know. Oh, 99% complete. So what did I miss? Oh, now that's going to really irk me. I've got to figure out what I missed. Let's go ahead and press key to continue and figure out if there's anything it tells us, like if we missed or not. No, there isn't. Damn it. I guess I will have to go back and do more digging eventually. I will do that at a later date and then let everybody know what I find. Until then, this has been the Painscreek Killings, and it was very fun to play through this with you guys. This will be up on the video on demand after the stream finishes. Please leave a follow. Just to catch me live next time we go. We will be playing Fallout 4 later this week. Ignore the snoring, that is my husband. And once we have some more stuff going, we'll do some Let's Chats and we'll do some Let's Plays. And I also plan on going down some rabbit holes with you guys. And hopefully this week we'll get the camera set up so we can start doing some video as well. With that said, thank you everybody who joined in tonight. It was a lot of fun, and I hope that you also enjoyed it. Until next time, have a great, lovely, safe, and wonderful day, and until I see you later, have fun.